Good morning, Sahib. Good morning, Nishan. I hope I'm audible, visible.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning. Bolo. So, are you okay with whatever you have done? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So, today we will complete employment and do certain questions of employment. ठीक है? चलेगा?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा. We'll start. I think we did AMAP last, is what we have done, I think. Now we have very few things that are remaining. Aja. So AMAP was the last thing. What do you say, Nishan? Last thing was AMAP, right?
Yes, sir. The last.
So AMAP was the last thing. चलो उसके बाद how do we do it, right? AMAP के बाद क्या था? So AMAP का question, did we have a look? I think this is the question that we looked at. ठीक है. Then net taxable or net deductible amount, ठीक है. This was the table for that question. ठीक. Now we have to go to donation or charity. I hope you remember something called as GGAD. Tell me. GGAD. What is GGAD? Tell me.
Gross gifted.
Gross said.
Gross gifted donation, right? So if any, now see there are two types of donations. Have a look. एक donation क्या है? Have a look. This is employer, correct? This is employee, right? Employer pays, correct? Let's say salary to the employee, 10,000 pounds, right? And after receiving this salary, employee does a donation. This is called as a gross gift aid donation. What is this called? Tell me. Gross gift aid donation.
Donation.
GGAD.
AD.
Whenever from the employee an amount is paid, so from this he will pay 1,000. But tell me that 1,000 will it be allowed as a deduction from your salary? GGAD deduction allowed होता है? Yeah, is it
No.
having a grossing concept?
Extension of bands.
Extension
Gro-
of means grossing of concept and ANI implication, correct? Are you okay with that? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
But there is another way you can do donations, right? What is the other way? You would say, sir, I don't want to do donation myself, right? You tell to your employer that, boss, I want to give certain money to Red Cross monthly or yearly once, right? From my salary of 10,000, okay? You deduct 1,000 pounds and pay directly to Red Cross or whatever, wherever you want to do donation, correct? That is called as payrolling charity or donation. Payroll charity or donation, right?
Donation.
And you will be surprised to know this is allowed as a deduction and only 9,000 will be taxable. In the hands of employee, only 9,000. When you yourself do any type of donation, correct? Problem, right? Because it will not be attracting direct deduction. It will be attracting what? Extension of
Gross.
bands, right?
Branch.
ANI implication, grossing up concept. But when you tell your employer, deduct from my salary. See, as an employer, when a taxpayer or a bigger taxpayer is paying some amount, it has some more, what? Tell me. backing to it. Hence, have a look. Donation or charity, right? GGAD that is there. Have a look. This is GGAD all about. GGAD provisions will apply, correct? Grossing up ANI and what? Extension of bands, right? And payrolling of charity. Have a look. Allowed as a deduction from employment income, correct? So what is payroll charity or payroll donation? You tell the employer that from your salary deduct some amount, right? Pay me less and directly do the charity on my behalf, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a look. That is a payroll charity. So in a question I have seen a lot of times, right? Payroll charity come up, right? So payroll charity is allowed as a deduction, but when it comes to GGAD, correct? What is GGAD all about? Tell me.
Grossing up.
You
Grossing up
yourself
exempt.
doing what? The
Donation.
donation, correct?
Yes.
Okay with it? Tell me. Then there is something called as payrolling benefit. Payrolling benefit. What is payrolling benefit? Now see the same thing I told you about deducting the money, right? And paying to Red Cross, right? So instead of that, what did the employee tell to the employer? Sir, I want to go to the gym, right? 1000 gym fees. On my behalf, please pay gym fees. Gym fees of how much? 1000 pounds, sir. Please, on my behalf, you only pay 1000 pounds, sir. Right? I will go to the gym, but it is for my personal expense. That is called, it is a benefit that is payroll, right? You are telling the employer from my salary. Employer is not giving you gym membership. You are saying from my salary, deduct 1000 and pay my gym fees. Will that be an allowable expense? Tell me, even if you are getting lesser salary.
No, sir.
Never ever will you get a expense of that type, correct? That is there. Then payrolling benefit is something like this, correct? It is a benefit and it will be fully taxable. Have a look. Payrolling benefit. So 150 pound per month salary, you say 15,000 is fully taxable. Salary received 14,650 or 14,850 plus what the 150 that you said would be added as benefit. Even if you say salary receivable is 14,850, right? So that deduction will not be allowed. Then there is something called as pay as you earn. What is pay as you earn? Logically, what happens in pay as you earn? Have a look. The employer, see, employer pays you salary, correct? But he pays you salary after deducting. Now, see, what will the employer do? He will take your annual salary, correct? According to that, he will ask if you have any what some GPPC, sorry, GPPC बोल रहा हूँ. What do you say? Your what OPC and any contribution that you have done, right? Any AMAP, all the things that we have seen up till now, all benefits, everything, he will tax everything. And he will do the calculation himself of how much tax is payable, correct? Then what he will do? Let's say tax is 4,000, correct? Here I've told you, right? 20,000 ka what? Tell me. All benefits and everything taxed 20,000, right? Taxed at 20%, 4,000. He will distribute this amount into 12 months, right? Or if he is paying you weekly, correct? Then divided by 52 weeks, and every week he will pay that much amount to the HMRC, correct? That is how, tell me, your employer HMRC वगैरह का details will work out, right? That is how things work out. So whatever your salary, paid tax will be paid as the on the pay as you earn or PAY system. Even your NICs, correct, are paid on the PAY system. Every month or every week, the amount will be deducted from your salary. Generally, it is paid every month, correct? What is the PAY plus benefits? तो chart बना दिया, right?
So in India, this is known as TDS, na?
TDS, yes. PAY plus benefits is what? PAY system, salary plus all benefits, correct? In P11D, there is a form called P11D in which you do what? Tell me. All generally benefits given by employer to employee are taxed, correct? Taxable what? Employment income on this tax liability is to be paid by employer to HMRC on behalf of employee. But if there is a payroll benefit, if payroll benefit are taxed, correct? PAY system does not apply on employer, correct? PAY system does not apply on what? Tell me, employer. See, if you say that, sir, pay my gym fees, उस benefit पे what? Your employer is not required to pay PAY or tax. You yourself have to pay. Employee has to pay tax on the same under PAY system directly to HMRC. No reporting. Even these benefits will not be reported in P11D. Correct? Have a look. Are you okay with it? Tell me. Make sense?
So just a minute. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then come to the part of traveling expenses, which are deductible or allowed as a deduction. Have a look at traveling. Now, traveling में there is one simple logic, correct? That if from home you go to office, just a second. Huh? एक ही सेकंड है गाइस, वो एक जन ब्लड लेने आए, एक ही सेकंड.
हाँ सर.
Are you all back? Tell me. So have a look. Traveling expense. What is traveling expense? Right? If you are traveling from home to office, office to home, correct? Traveling expense. See, traveling expense generally, what is the basic premise of traveling expense? Is traveling expense for employment purpose, right? That means where your employer and employee, correct, are, or you are basically traveling for what? Tell me, to serve your employment purpose, correct? So in this case, right, employment purpose मतलब क्या? Office में से you are going somewhere for travel. So home to office, office to home is normal travel, and that expense that you do every day, correct, will not be allowed as a traveling expense. We discussed this, I think, before also, that if you are employee, then you cannot get this expense. But if you turn into a contractor, right, then you can claim all these expenses, correct? But from home, if you go to client place, allowed as an expense, because you are going for what? Providing your employment services to somewhere else on behalf of the employer, correct?
Employer.
So you can give a brief summary of that part, that how for a contractor all these expenses are allowable.
What?
So you
Simple.
said na कि
See, if you are a contractor, then you become a self-employed individual, correct? And if you are traveling for, see, simple. If I go to office every day, I am the employee, then I cannot claim the expense. But if I'm a contractor and going to client place every day, because then when I become a contractor, that person becomes my client. Then if I travel to client place, allowed as an expense, correct?
okay sir.
So home to office, office to home, correct? Then in that case, what? Tell me, not allowed as traveling expense, correct? Just a second, guys. So home to office, office to home, correct? Not allowed. Home to client place to home, allowed, correct? But वो था that we talked about home to office and then office to client place, right? And then client place to home. Home to office not allowed. Office to client place allowed. Client place to home again allowed, right? But if you are doing half day, right? You are just passing the office and going to client place, correct? Allowed. But if you go half day office then client place वगैरह तो home to office not allowed. That is how it will go, right? So that is one thing. Then there is, if you go for any vacation, obviously that expense will not be allowed, right? Then you have what? Tell me. उसके बाद you have something called as temporary office, correct? So home of employee to temporary office. If you have shifted from one place to another, right? Generally, a temporary office that is there, you take up some, or your employer takes up some project, right? And the base has moved, right? From what? Tell me. This office to the new temporary office, right? Then you can claim those expenses that are there to temporary office. But temporary office can only be a temporary office for 24 months, not more than 24 months, right? After that, it becomes permanent office or normal office, and all expenses will be disallowed, correct? Now have a look at this question that is there. Good question on. So Mr. A has gross salary of how much? 75,000 for the period from 6/04/23 to 5/04/24. The following are the expenses incurred by him. Traveling expenditure to and from home, to and fro home to temporary office, correct? Temporary office expenses allowed or not allowed? Tell me. Temporary
Allowed.
office expense allowed. Travel
Allowed.
expenditure to and fro home to client place allowed or not allowed? Tell me.
Allowed.
Allowed.
7% of his gross salary is in the form of contribution from his pocket to occupational pension scheme, correct? And 10% of his gross salary is paid by the employer into the OPS. Now tell me which is deductible, which is exempt. Tell me. What do you say, Nishan?
Seven
Which
7% is deductible.
7% is deductible, 10% is what? Tell me.
Exempt.
Correct. He himself did a donation to Red Cross of 750 pound and asked his employer under payroll deduction scheme to pay 1500 as donation to charity. Which one will be allowed as a deduction? And tell me which one
Payroll
is,
deduction scheme will be allowable.
Payroll deduction.
yes. So payroll deduction will be allowed as a deduction. 750 may
Deduction.
three implication grossing up, right?
Grossing up.
your band, your
Band extension.
yes, right. Then Mr. A was marketing manager and paid subscription to Institute of Marketing 250.
Allowable.
अब marketing का रहेगा ना wait. That is remaining.
Allowable.
Not do that.
Subscription to professional bodies.
Bodies.
Subscription to professional bodies. एक मिनट आ रहा है क्या क्या?
सर वो आपने बता दिया था पहले.
ये रहा नहीं. I missed it in between. Subscription to professional bodies. Have a look. Subscription fees paid to approved, right? To approved what? Professional bodies approved by HMRC plus used in your employment purpose. Then only it is allowed. Correct. Subscription fees paid to what? Professional bodies approved by HMRC plus not used for employment purpose, right? Not allowed as a deduction. Subscription fees paid for personal use. Obviously, golf or gym membership not allowed at all as a deduction from employment income. Okay है क्या देखो? So two conditions. It should be what? Approved by HMRC, the subscription or fees paid, correct? And it should be used for employment purpose. Again, coming back to this, Mr. A was a marketing manager and paid subscription to Institute of Marketing, right? Same thing if you had paid to some Institute of Science, right? Will that subscription be allowed? Tell me.
No.
No.
No, sir.
Marketing manager, marketing वाले को चलेगा. Also paid golf subscription for meeting valuable clients, pound 750.
Not
Tell me.
allowed.
Not allowed.
Okay with it? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
This question you can try for homework today. Get the answer, right? Subscription के बाद. Then we have last something was remain was job related accommodation last. और job related accommodation I think you have only one question related to it. ठीक है. एक बार देख लोगे if you have any doubt. Not very important from exam point of view. Not yet ever asked in exam. ठीक है. चलो next we can start NICs. Tell me. NICs class 1 NICs, class 2 NICs. We are going to do logically class 1 and class 1A NIC. Okay.
Yes.
ठीक है. NIC class 1 you have two types of what? First we are going to do NIC class 1 and class 1A. One has two what? Tell me. Logics. And now are you okay with PAY system? Tell me. NIC is also something sort of a tax only, correct? And it will be what? Logically paid from your pocket only, correct? So NIC class 1, NIC class 1, right? Class 1 employee contribution and class 1 employer contribution, right? So class 1 employee contribution deducted from gross salary of employee plus not an allowable deduction from the employment income of employee plus not an allowable deduction for employer also. See, employee contribution, there are two types of contribution. NIC class 1 employee and NIC class 1 employer contribution, right? So employee mein what will happen? It will be deducted from the gross salary of the employee, correct? So whenever employer is paying to the employee, in that payment that will be deducted from, but it is not a deduction in tax calculation, right? Because it will be a tax. So even the tax that you pay is not something that is allowed as a deduction, right? It will be directly what? Tell me, payable, right? Hence, it is what? Class 1 employee contribution deducted from gross salary of employee and paid to the HMRC by the employee on what? Tell me, your PAY system, correct? And for the employee or for the employer, not allowed as a deduction. Yes, Tahir, tell me.
So as you said that these NICs are sort of tax collection. So what is the logic of NICs? These are for
NICs
security.
are basically national insurance contributions, correct? Over and above the tax they are paid. So these are state facilities that are given to you. Extra amount is paid so that state can provide facilities to you like medical and insurance facilities. So you see, in India you may not have the state covering you. Now we have all this Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana and all that, where you can take out medical insurance and what life insurance. The same thing is there in UK. Well, it is compulsory for every employee that works. So anything happens to that employee on work premises or somewhere outside also, he will get this insurance ka what? Tell me.
So
Basically,
at the end, if something happens, uncertainty occurs. So the all
yes.
these insurance amounts will be
Yes.
credited
So
to you.
whatever is the insurance amount, state-wise NICs or central NICs that are there, right, will pay you that certain XYZ amount. Now that is not given in the law, how much will be the insurance amount and claim and all that, but that can happen afterwards. So it is compulsorily paid, but right. So even if you are a self-employed person, you pay class 2 and class 4 wala part, correct?
Yes.
So for an employee, class 1 and class 1A. Class 1 for normal gross earnings that he has, correct? And class 1A for all the benefits that he has, correct?
Mm.
So class 1 employee, right, will be deducted. See, in the payment, it will be deducted from salary of what? Employee, right?
Gross
But when
salary,
it,
no?
sorry, no,
From
gross earnings, not gross salary. There is nothing as gross
yeah,
salary.
yeah, gross earnings.
So gross earnings amount will be there to calculate what? NICs, right? That is how it will be. Then deducted from gross salary of the employee, but it will be calculated on gross earnings, correct? Not an allowable deduction from the employment income of employee, not an allowable deduction for employer from TATP. Class 1 ER contribution paid from the pocket of the ER. This is what now see, this is employer paying on your behalf. बराबर है क्या?
Yeah.
Paid from the pocket of the employer plus not an allowable deduction from the employment income of employee, right? Employee के लिए तो it is never going to be a deduction. It is paid from his pocket only. But see, employee contribution paid from his pocket. Employer contribution is what? Now see, the basic logic of NIC is very clear. What will happen? Employer, employee, correct? So let's say he's paying 15,000 salary, out of which let's say all other deductions he will deduct, for example, say tax 2,000, correct? Then he will deduct 1,000 NIC. We have not calculated how NICs are calculated, but example, 1,000 NICs deducted. So he will be paid how much? 12,000. But in his hands, gross salary is 15,000. Full 15,000 pound is taxable because these are not allowable deductions as per taxation. So taxable to पूरा 15,000 होगा. From that now 2,000 this will person will pay to the HMRC every month, every week, whatever it is, right? 12,000 receivable होगा, but these are not allowed as deductions. So 15,000 fully taxable. This is what the logic of NICs is in the hands of employee. Now see, this
So
is let's say class 1 employee contribution, correct? That is deducted from the salary of employee. Now what does the employer say? That in class 1 he also has to pay from his own pocket, right? From his own pocket he pays additional 1,000. Now this is something that he is paying from his own pocket, so that will be allowed as a deduction for the employer from his TATP. Correct है? देख लो. Makes a lot of sense. Tell me.
So even though these NICs are compulsory payments, then also no tax rebate is given upon that.
No taxability क्यों रहेगा? See, it is as good as tax. So it has the status of tax. If I say 15,000 में से 2,000 you pay tax, so you will say no sir, 13,000 only taxable. Then you will say no, 13,000 पे only 20%. तो वैसा तो कभी क्या होगा? It is a never ending loop. Correct or not?
How, sir? I did not get it.
See, 15,000 पे 20% tax, correct?
हाँ.
So how much? 3,000. You will say सर टैक्स को डिडक्टेबल दो, मतलब इधर से 3,000 माइनस का, मतलब सर मेरा सैलरी तो 12,000 ही है, इस पे 20% सर, 2400 सर, अरे नो नो ये तो डिडक्टेबल है ना सर, तो व्हाट टेल मी, 9,600, नहीं नहीं सर इस पे 20%, तो विल इट एवर स्टॉप इफ यू गेट टैक्स एज अ डिडक्शन? टेल मी. नो.
No.
डायरेक्टली 15,000 पे 20%. टैक्सेबल इनकम इज 15,000. टैक्स कैन नेवर बी अ डिडक्टेबल एक्सपेंस फ्रॉम योर सैलरी और फ्रॉम योर इनकम, करेक्ट? Same way, NIC has the same logic for a employee, correct? Right?
Sir, even if employer is paying, it's not deductible for employer, right?
Sorry?
See, even if employer is paying on behalf of the employee, it is
No,
not
see, this is
deducted.
to what he has deducted on your behalf. You had to pay the tax. On your
Okay.
behalf, he has taken 2000. It is just a
Huh.
liability. He's taken 2000 and paying it to the government. It is just one layer added in between. Actually, you only had to pay. But on your behalf, he
Okay.
is paying. Correct? But when it
Oh.
comes to class 1 NIC contribution, which are employer contribution, this is what he is not deducted it from your salary, like your 1000, right? No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
He is from his own pocket paying 1000 for your, like he was paying OPS. Do you remember, from his own pocket?
Ha 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 ha.
वैसा ही NIC का is doing from his own pocket. So if he is paying from his own pocket, that means it's an expense for him. He is doing for the betterment of what employee. If something happens to
Employer.
the employee, insurance proceeds will go to the employee. Will employer get any insurance proceeds? Tell me. If employee dies,
No.
the
No.
insurance proceeds will be given to employee. So
Sir,
one,
according, yes, sir, go.
बोलो बोलो.
Sir, so according to this example, if 15,000 is our income and 3,000 totally is paid NICs, let
Total
it be
2000 is tax, 1000 NIC.
2,000 is tax, only 1,000 is NIC. Okay, so if 1,000 is NIC, so then taxable income cannot be 14,000, उसके ऊपर tax
No,
calculator.
no, it will be 15,000 only.
हाँ, but sir उसका logic क्या है?
लॉजिक सिंपल है. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज दैट जैसे आप टैक्स पे करते हो, इज टैक्स अलाउड एज अ डिडक्शन?
No.
नो. सेम थिंग एनआईसी इज आल्सो कैटेगराइज्ड एज वन ऑफ द टैक्सेस ओनली. One of the taxes which basically will not help you. See, this tax will help you build roads, provide you all free education. Now see, in the UK you have a lot of what, tell me, free education हो गया, you have certain other facilities given by the government, free buses, ऐसा वो जो सब दिया है, good roads, good air, correct, जो अपने यहाँ
Yeah.
पे पॉसिबल नहीं है. ठीक है. roads तो I think in the morning you go to on that road, correct, it's all right, in the evening it's dug up, correct or not? So अगर roads की बात की जाए तो all this is given by the taxation system. This is given to what, all citizen. But when it comes to NIC, specifically some what benefit is given to you of insurance, right? But what does the government say? If we give you deduction for this, then you will say what? अरे 1000 नहीं सर, 2000 का इंश्योरेंस निकालो, 5000 का इंश्योरेंस निकालो, 10,000 का निकालो. Will you do that? Tell me.
Yes.
Yes. Then will it be similar or same for everyone? Tell me. No. अगर डिडक्शन दिया तो आप क्या करोगे? सर ज्यादा का इंश्योरेंस लो ना, ज्यादा डिडक्शन मिलेगा.
Yes.
Did not go with the logic of what? Tell me. Giving a liberty to you to decide the amount. अमाउंट हम डिसाइड करेंगे और उसका डिडक्शन नहीं मिलेगा. इफ आई गिव यू डिडक्शन, गॉन, राइट? यू विल बी कंप्लीटली व्हाट, डिपेंडेंट ऑन मी. नो, ज्यादा डिडक्शन चाहिए सर इस साल, सीए साहब ज्यादा एनआईसी दे दो. कैन यू गिव मोर और लेस एनआईसी, और यू हैव टू पे ओनली द फिक्स्ड अमाउंट ऑफ एनआईसी? टेल मी.
If this happens, sir, then tax
Fixed.
planning will occur.
सॉरी.
If this happens, if deduction is given for an IC, then tax planning will occur, na?
टैक्स प्लानिंग विल हैपन. इसीलिए एनआईसी को क्या कर दिया, कंपल्सरीली पे करना पड़ेगा, राइट? एंड इट विल बी एट अ सर्टेन परसेंटेज ऑफ योर ग्रॉस अर्निंग्स. नो क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड. एम्प्लॉय के लिए तो नो डिडक्शन. हाँ, बट क्लास 1 एम्प्लॉयर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन विच ही हैज टू पे फ्रॉम हिज ओन पॉकेट, उसके लिए उसको इन हिज पीएनएल फ्रॉम हिज टीएटीपी अलाउएबल है. करेक्ट?
Yes, sir.
मेक सेंस?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, chalo. So allowed as deduction from TATP, right? Are you okay? Have a look. What is the logic behind this? Are we all on the same page? Just take a look, read it once. एम्प्लॉय कंट्रीब्यूशन का क्या होगा, एम्प्लॉयर का क्या होगा? एम्प्लॉय इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट सैलरी वाला, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एक्सप्लॉइटेड पर्सन इन दिस वर्ल्ड. क्यों? टेल मी. सब सारे टैक्स उसी को भरने हैं बेचारे को. करेक्ट. एंड यू विल नॉट गेट एनी डिडक्शन. अपने अभी गवर्नमेंट प्लेड अ मास्टर स्ट्रोक, बराबर ना? नो टैक्स अप टू 12,75,000. बट देर इज अ कैच, राइट? आई होप you know the catch. What is the
Yes, sir.
catch? What is the catch?
The liability will be calculated all over 12 lakhs, but if your income exceeds, you have to pay the entire tax.
Even if it is 13 lakh, correct? Income
Yeah.
13 lakh pay, you have to pay tax. So you
If
have
you
to have
like
total income less than
exemption up
1275.
to 12 lakhs, but if your income exceeds 12 lakh, you will have to pay the tax upon entire amount.
Yes, that is how it
That
is.
is why the tax slabs are given.
हाँ. चलो चलो, done. Tell me. Okay with this? NIC
Yes, sir.
class 1, right? Then class 1 employee contribution. Now see, first I did not go into the detail of what gross earnings are, correct? Class 1 employee contribution, right? If gross earnings, now see, gross earning has a definition. We'll cover that definition later on, right? But if gross earnings for a year of an employee is between what? 0 to 12,570 or 12,571 to 50,270, right? NIC 0 to 12,570 at 0%, 12,571 to 50,270, it will be NIC at 12%. 12,571 to 50,270 NIC will be calculated at 12%, correct? Class 1 employee contribution, right? And then greater than 50,270 and above, NIC at 2%, right? Have a look. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, if we have a question on this, hmm. So let's say example, if gross earnings are something like this, 8,500. If your gross earnings is 8,500, no tension. NIC will be 0. But if it is 28,500, 0 to 12,500, it will be at 0. Then 28,500 and 12,570 say 28,570 will be at 12%, giving 1,912. And then more than that, it will be at 2%, right? Have a look. 128,500. 0 to 12,570 at 0%, 50,270 तक. For 12,571 to 50,270, it will be at 12%, 4,524, right? And 128,500 minus the 50,270 threshold at 2%. So total NIC will be 6,089. Today you can solve these questions if you want, right? Now there is one concept of what? Tell me. Now see, here I am saying what? These are annual. These are what? For a year means what? These are annual contributions, right?
Uh,
Right? Annual what? Thresholds, correct? But if you are not employed for the full year, let's say you are only employed for 6 months, 8 months, 5 months, right? In that case, also will these annual thresholds apply, or will these annual thresholds be logically again what? Tell me. Changed for monthly or whatever basis? Have a look. So Mr. A was employed on 1/11/2023 at company A, right? He was paid a salary of 1,900 pounds per month, right? Salary is equal to gross earnings. Calculate NIC liability for tax year 23-24. Now see, isn't it very illogical to apply 12,570 ka yearly threshold to this person? Was he employed for the full year? Tell me.
No.
So for him, the threshold limits will change. Yearly it is 12,570 and 50,270, correct? Now it will change for him, right? It will become 12,570 by 12 into 4 and 50,000 or 5, whatever, 5, sorry. Divide by 12 into 5, right? And 12, 5, 7. So what will be the logic for him? 5238 is his what? Tell me. Have a look. Threshold limit that is there. So he will go and 50,000, 12,570 and 50,270 will become 5238 and 20946. Now, has his income gone above 5238? Yes.
Yes.
His income is 9,500. So 9,500 में से 5238 gone at 0%, remaining 4262 at 12%. Correct. So monthly, even this limit may apply weekly. Correct. So this is the revised limit for him, right? 9,500 received NIC calculation, 0 to 12,570 for 12 months, 12,570 की जगह पे 0 to 5238 for 5 months, 12,570 to 50,270 will now be 50,270 will become to 20,946, that is into 5 by 12. So 5238 to 20,946, more than 50,000 यानी उसका हो जाएगा 50,270, that will become 20946. 0 to 5238, correct, at 0%. Have a look. 511 will be his total NIC and it will be payable monthly. So 511 divided by 5, 102 pound. अगर weekly होता तो 511 divided by what? Tell me. Actual weekly given, right?
52.
है क्या? बराबर है? Have a look.
Yes.
Make sense? Tell me. चल. Then class 1 ER contribution, right? What is the calculation like? 0 to 9,100 at 0%, more than 9,100 direct at 13 point how much, right? 8%. 13 point how much? 8%, right? This has to be gross earnings, correct? So now when we say both the contributions together, if you have to calculate 0 to 5,400, if let's say your income is gross earnings is 5,400, class 1 ER at 0%, class 1 employee at 0%, but when it comes to 25,400, पूरे साल का 25,400, then ER will be what? 0 to 9,100 0%, more than 9,100 at 13.8%. और employee का तो 0 to 12,570, 12,570 to 25,400. This is one question, you can give it a go, right? Easy है इसलिए I am not taking up in class, right? Have a look. Now the pro rata basis, that is 12 months का, applies now both employee and employer. In the recent books we have seen it does apply to employer also and it does apply to employee also, both threshold, that is your 0 to 12,570, 12,570 to 50,270, correct? And here 0 to 9,100 and 9,100 and above, both these threshold can be prorated, right? Employee and employer, class 1 NIC contributions can be fully prorated, no tension at all. ठीक है? Have a look. Class 1 employee as well as employer, both can be prorated. Now coming to the part, right, of what? एक और question लिया था, I think. Have a look. Have a look at this question. Are you okay? Have a look. Mr. A is what? Working full time somewhere. Mr. A is working full time throughout the year with company A and gross earnings of 154,000. Calculate NIC. ठीक है? ये okay. This you can do for homework. Answers I have given. You can try once, right? उसके बाद हाँ, payment date of employee and employer, class 1 contribution. Class 1 employer and employee will be paid on 19th of every month, right? If not paid, क्या है? Tell me. Electronically 22nd. 19th तक if you are going to pay, what? Tell me. By paper return, correct? But if you are paying what? Electronically, then by 22nd of every month, right? These dates.
Sir, we have to remember it.
हाँ
This we have to remember it, sir.
हाँ, याद ही करना पड़ेगा. 22nd of each month NICs, right? Then what is gross earnings? What are gross earnings? Have a look. Gross earnings, I don't find a lot of problem in a lot of things. One or two important things that come up in gross earnings are, right? Simple है gross earnings. What all they include? Wages, salary, overtime, commission, bonus, sick pay, statutory sick pay. Statutory sick pay means which are allowed by law. Tips and gratuities paid or allocated by employer, that is also okay. In that also tips that are allocated by employer, right? That means I have told you before also, right? Tips directly received by employee. You must be going to restaurants, right? You directly, if you tip the waiter, that will not be included. But if you tip the waiter, add the amount in the bill and pay extra to the cashier, those kind of tips will be included, right? ये okay क्या tips paid or allocated by employer and tips directly paid by employee, that will not be included. Then reimbursement not allowed as what? कोई extra reimbursement दे रहे हो आप, correct? Which is over and above the what? Your normal working or not allowed fully and exclusively, right, for the business, then वो वाला पार्ट यानी all cash related, ऐसा याद रखने के लिए all cash related incomes will be added in class 1 employee contribution gross earnings, correct? All non cash benefits, right, or exempt benefits, correct, will not be included. All non cash benefits like car, LA, asset used, all those will be taxed in class 1A, right? 1A को अभी के लिए छोड़ दो, but when I am doing class 1 employee contribution का question, correct, in that case, right, all the cash related what incomes, interest on beneficial loan, cash voucher, reimbursement not allowed, extra reimbursements that are given, tips and gratuities paid or allocated. एक ही प्रॉब्लम है खाली AMAP का. I don't know why, but there is a lot of confusion with AMAP. अब now see how it goes. Now let's say you have a salary, okay, 10,000. You have car benefit that is taxed, okay, 4,000 pounds. You have living accommodation benefit that is taxed, right, 2,000. Then let's say tips allocated, right, by employer, 3,000 pounds, right? Then you have AMAP, correct, which you have a deductible what, tell me, expense. AMAP let's say 15,000 miles दिया हुआ है, so calculate normal AMAP कितना आएगा, tell me. Normal AMAP at 15,000 miles, tell me. First 10,000 at how much, tell me.
0.45.
0.45 pounds and remaining 5,000 at what, tell me.
0.25.
0.25 pounds, correct. So कितना है AMAP that will be deductible, tell me. How much is the AMAP that is deductible?
5750.
9750.
5750, correct.
Yes.
This is normal taxation that happens. So इसमें how much is my salary that is taxable, tell me. Income from salary कितना होगा, tell me. 10,000 plus 4,000 plus 2,000 plus 3,000 minus 5.
24,750.
कितना?
24,750. No, sorry.
Minus
13,000. Yeah, 13,250.
13,250, right?
Yeah.
But now when you go for NIC calculation, right, तो सैलरी तो टैक्सेबल है 10,000, ठीक है. कार बेनिफिट क्लास 1 में टैक्स नहीं होगा, तो कार बेनिफिट इज नॉट टैक्स्ड एज, या ग्रॉस अर्निंग्स का कैलकुलेशन फॉर क्लास 1 एम्प्लॉय एंड एम्प्लॉयर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन, करेक्ट. तो देखो जरा हाउ दिस विल बी डन. सैलरी 10,000, कार विल नॉट बी टैक्स्ड, LA बेनिफिट इस पे क्लास 1 आएगा, विल गो टू क्लास 1 इन सम टाइम, but it will not be. Tips allocated by employer, tell me, allowed, or it is part of gross earnings 3,000. But when it comes to AMAP deduction ना, AMAP में वो क्या बोलते हैं, have a look. AMAP calculation of deduction allowed for reimbursement only up to 0.45 miles, यानी irrespective of number of miles. Normal AMAP में क्या है, 10,000 up to 10,000 0.45, above 10,000 at how much, 0.25,
0.25.
बराबर. बट यहाँ पे जब होगा ना, इट विल बी फुल 15,000 miles, full 15,000 miles, correct, at 0.45 pound per mile. Just a second, guys. So this AMAP will be fully at 45 pounds per 0.45 pounds per mile. यानी कितना होगा ये डिडक्शन? टेल मी. एक मिनट, सैलरी 50,000 कर देता हूँ, ठीक है, तो इट विल बी प्रॉपर. टेल मी हाउ मच विल
6750
कितना कितना
AMAP
6
6750.
6750, right? So how
But
much
this
is
car benefit and living accommodation why will it not be calculated here?
because it is not part of gross earnings, does not include all non-cash benefits.
Okay, okay, non-cash
Those
benefits.
are taxed at what? Class 1A में जाएगा वो, correct? So car and living accommodation you will have class 1A, right? So tell me 50,053 minus तो 47 हो जाएगा. 47 कितना? Tell me. 47 या कितना? 46, I don't know कितना होगा.
1 minute, sir.
46,250.
46,250, correct. This is how gross earnings will be calculated. I may have questions here as well. देखो जरा. This is one question. Gross earnings, living accommodation, right? One mobile given exempt है, so exempt will not be included, right? Beneficial interest on loan 500 pounds. Reimbursement received 5,000, right? Will be taxable fully. Allowable expense against reimbursement 4,000 pounds. As what? Wholly, exclusively, and necessarily for business. Would deduct होगा, correct? So whatever, see, 5,000 is the reimbursement and 4,000 allowable expense. So 1,000 is taxable, correct? देख लो. Living accommodation benefit not included, car benefit not included, one mobile given, asset given for use not included, correct? देख लो. Because these are what? Non, what? Tell me.
Cash
Then
benefit.
so have a look.
Sir, so yeah, 1,000 is the reimbursement benefit that is not
That
wholly and exclusively
yes,
for
yes,
business.
yes, that will be taxable, correct? Then let's go ahead. There is a good question that I have on this. देखो जरा. Mr. A receives what? Following income from employment. Salary, commission and bonus 10,000 pounds, correct? Tips allowed by ER, allocated by ER. Will this be taxable? Yes. Tips received directly from customer? Not taxable. Reimbursement for travel expense, right? 500 and 750. 1250 will be taxable, right? But tell me, home to office, office to home, allowable expense or not allowable expense? Tell me. Home to office, office to home, travel expense. ये देखो
Not
ये
allowed.
नॉट अलाउड, तो 500 डिसअलाउ होगा, करेक्ट. तो डिसअलाउ वाला पार्ट Expense not wholly, exclusively, and necessarily for business will be taxable. 750 home to client place to home, allowable expense. So out of the 1250, 750 will be allowable, 500 will be taxable. Have a look.
Taxable.
Reimbursement for business miles, correct? Traveled in employee car, right? At 15,000 pounds. उन्होंने 15,000 pound दिया आपको as AMAP का reimbursement, fully taxable. Out of which 19,000 business miles are there. So 19,000 into what? Tell me. Your
0.45.
0.45 will be allowable expense. 8550.
8550.
Car provided. Car provided तो car benefit है. So not at all allowed as a deduction. Vouchers of clothing brand. Cash vouchers given. Taxable or part of gross earnings. LA provided will not be passed, right? So 17,550. On that you can calculate class 1 employee employer NICs. बराबर है क्या? Have a look. Good question. There are certain MCQs as well. A lot of students who have not done gross earnings, even at the older academy, other faculties don't know what is gross earnings at all. वो gross salary पे ही, see, if nothing given, no, you can take gross salary पे directly percentage if nothing is given in question. But if it is specifically gross earning का calculation is given, correct, then you have to do that, correct?
So in exam up till now, it has been asked to calculate gross earnings.
Yeah, gross earnings नहीं, but to calculate NICs where they have given AMAP इतना है, salary इतना है.
Okay, so for that, we have to necessarily calculate gross earnings.
Obviously, yes. And उसमें भी ये a lot of people ask doubts, right, from other faculties कि sir, how did or why AMAP का calculation is wrong in what NICs? Wrong है क्या वो? Tell me. No. It is full all miles at what? 0.45.
Right.
Not a breakup of 45 and 25. Correct? वही एक प्रॉब्लम आता है. एंड मे बी टिप्स अलोकेटेड वाला पार्ट जो है या टिप्स रिसीव डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम कस्टमर, मे बी दैट माइट बी अ प्रॉब्लम. करेक्ट? After
Sir,
that, just
so logically, more AMAP deduction is given in gross earnings,
yes,
right?
yes, directly at 0.45 for full business miles. Correct?
Yes.
Then come to class 1A NIC contribution. Will be paid by employer from his own pocket on taxable benefits. इधर employee को कुछ नहीं पे करना है. One kind of contribution, right? And from employer's pocket only. Correct? Will be paid by employer from his own pocket as taxable benefit provided to employee. Car benefit, LA benefit, fuel benefit, amount provided, etc. Asset provided, etc. Paid by employer to HMRC from his own pocket, right? Not a deduction for employee, obviously, but will be allowed the deduction or expense from TATP to the employer, correct? Same payment date of class 1 NICs, correct? जो class 1 NIC का date है, that will be the same date. But इसमें कहीं you will find only one date, 22nd July after tax year. ऐसा है, right? 22nd July after tax year. So let's say for tax year 23-24, it will be 22nd July 24.
Sir, why this date?
दिया है वो, लॉ ने दिया है, मैंने नहीं बोला.
नहीं, पर सर हर महीने की 22 को
हर
होता था ना.
महीने की नहीं, हर महीने की नहीं है इसमें. एंड में, राइट, इट इज वन डेट, इट इज नॉट ईयरली डेट जितना मुझे याद है. करेक्ट?
तो
इट
पूरे
इज
ईयर का वो क्लास 1
वन.
NIC एक ही
यस,
साथ 22 जुलाई
वन
पे.
एनआईसी कैन बी पेड. मंथली का भी ऑप्शन है और ईयरली का भी ऑप्शन है जितना मुझे याद है. ठीक है? देन एनआईसी एट 13.8% ऑफ फुल अमाउंट ऑफ बेनिफिट, राइट, विदाउट एनी थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट. मतलब जितना भी कार बेनिफिट और एलए बेनिफिट है, राइट, फुल विल बी पेड. हैव अ लुक. Mr. A has been provided was what following benefits for the year by his employer, right? LA with annual value of 2,000 and property was purchased 5 years ago at 125,000. So basic charge 2,000, additional charge कितना होगा 125,000 minus 75 into 2.25%. देखो जरा 1125 आता है क्या? Just verify. 125 minus 75, that is 50,000 into 2.25%. कितना है एडिशनल चार्ज?
Oh yeah, 1125.
correct? Then car of employer, right? Employee for employer used for private purpose 75,000 list price of the car. Petrol car 69 grams per kilometer CO2 emission. तो कितना परसेंट होगा? 18%, correct? And asset given for use to employee, market value of asset is 7,000 when it was given. So 7,000 into 20%. So class 1 NIC at 13.8% of 18,000. इसमें से कुछ है क्या? 0 to 12,570, nothing. £1 also non-cash benefit is there at 20% or at 13.8%. NIC will be paid. Class 1 NIC, correct?
तो इसमें एसेट वाले में प्रोरेटा जैसे कुछ नहीं है?
प्रो रेटा नहीं है ना, क्योंकि बिकॉज व्हाट आई हैव रिटन इन द फर्स्ट लाइन, पहली लाइन में क्या लिखा है? मिस्टर हैज बीन प्रोवाइडेड फॉलोइंग बेनिफिट फॉर द ईयर बाय हिज एम्प्लॉयर, करेक्ट? फॉर द फुल ईयर. प्रो रेटा होता तो प्रो रेटा अप्लाई करते ऑब्वियसली. So it is nothing but the value of that car or living accommodation, right? That is there. Then there is something called as annual employment allowance, correct? What is annual employment allowance? If the owner and the employer or director of are not the same, only employer of the company. देखो अब ये क्या है, मैं पहले ये बताता हूँ, right? Now see, last year it is logically said, last year if your class 1 employer liability is less than 100,000, ठीक है? Then in this year, right, first 5,000 या up to 5,000 of your AEA, right, of your class 1 employer contribution will be allowed as annual employment allowance. Logically मतलब क्या? Now see what used to happen, no? Generally what used to happen, let's say this is Mr. A. He is only owner of the company or owner of the organization and he is only what? Employee. Generally one person company में क्या होता है? Tell me. There is one person who owns the company, correct? He is only director, he is only employee. मैं ही राजा मैं ही प्रजा, correct? He is only employee, owner, everything, right? And he himself only pays himself salary, right? उसके ऊपर class 1A, class 1 NIC will calculate, right? 1A employee, employer, everything, he is only there, he is only paying, correct? So what he'll do? Logically, if only this kind of system is there, then this annual exemption allowance, yeah, annual employment allowance will not apply, right? अगर Mr. A has 10-15 employees, right, then this applies. So it has to be not a one person company, correct, where he is only everything, right? But it has to be what? A normal company. So check in last year whether employer contribution is less than 100,000. If yes, then this year up to 5,000 of AEA will be deducted, correct? So have a look. Mr. A has 2 employees. I have one question on this. Mr. A has what? 2 employees who are paid salary, right, of 50,000 each since 2021. Class 1 ER contribution for tax year 22-23 was 10,000 pound. Last year का 10,000 ही था. So if last year less than 100,000 employer contribution, then this year whatever contribution that you pay, उस पे 5,000 का AEA will be available. Have a look. Just have a look. I'll give you 2 minutes. Just have. चलो आ जाओ. ठीक है क्या? 5,000 आउट. अगर क्लास 1 एम्प्लॉयर कंट्रीब्यूशन वुड हैव बीन लेस देन 5,000 दिस ईयर, तो AEA कैनॉट गो इन नेगेटिव. ठीक है, AEA वुड बी रिस्ट्रिक्टेड अप टू 5,000 लिखा है. मतलब 2,000 होता अगर क्लास 1 एम्प्लॉयर, तो पूरा 2,000 डिडक्टेबल. करेक्ट. बट यू कैनॉट से 3,000 रिफंड. ओके, चले आगे. टेल मी. विद दिस योर NICs आर डन एंड डस्टेड. काम खत्म. राइट. So let's go ahead. Now let me get one section C question for you directly. क्या अपने पास क्वेश्चन रेडी है? I have to get employment का क्वेश्चन. अरे ये क्वेश्चन अच्छा है. रॉबिनेट वाला क्वेश्चन एक अच्छा है ना. वी हैव सीन दैट क्वेश्चन. ठीक है. बट रॉबिनेट इज इसका क्वेश्चन ना.
सर एक्सेल में सॉल्व करवाओगे आप?
हाँ, पहले क्वेश्चन तो चूज करने दे. रुक, मेरे को क्वेश्चन देखने दे. हाँ.
अरे कोई भी ले लो सर, आप अच्छा ही क्वेश्चन चूज करते हो.
Yeah, let me see. Reimbursement for the mileage. रिचर्ड बोल के एक क्वेश्चन है. क्या है भाई इसको? आ जाओ. लेट मी जस्ट ओपन अप अ वर्ड फाइल फॉर योर व्हाट.
सर एट योर होम मराठी स्पोकन.
यस.
सर बट वंस आई
मैं तो
रिमेम्बर यू
गुजराती.
टोल्ड दैट
घर में तो
गुजराती.
गुजराती.
हाँ गुजराती बैकग्राउंड है ना सर आपका.
बट मेरी मराठी बहुत अच्छी है. बिकॉज आई स्टेड ऑल माई लाइफ इन महाराष्ट्र नो.
तो आपके घर पे नॉर्मल कन्वर्सेशन गुजराती में होता है मराठी में होता है?
गुजराती गुजराती. एक मिनट. हाँ, क्या हो गया भाई? इसको वर्ड फाइल ओपन नहीं हो रही है. ये माउस खराब है या क्या सीन है, मेरे को मालूम नहीं. हाँ, देखो जरा. इज द क्वेश्चन विजिबल टू यू? टेल मी. अरे
यस सर इट्स
अपना
विजिबल.
क्वेश्चन.
visible है.
ओके है क्या? हैव अ लुक.
हाँ सर.
अभी थोड़ा बेटर है? चलो, आ जाओ। तो रिचर्ड ट्रायर वाला क्वेश्चन है। रिचर्ड ट्रायर इज एम्प्लॉयड बाय प्रॉक पाई एज अ कंप्यूटर प्रोग्रामर. Richard has tried to prepare his own income tax computation, correct, for the tax year 23-24, but he has found it more difficult, right, than expected. Although the sections which Richard has completed are correct, there are significant number of omissions. The omissions are marked as outstanding. ठीक है. The partly completed income tax computation is as follows. देखो जरा. Employment, right, ये इधर कार बेनिफिट. ठीक है. कार बेनिफिट आउटस्टैंडिंग है, फ्यूल बेनिफिट आउटस्टैंडिंग है. ठीक है. उसने इनकम फ्रॉम एम्प्लॉयमेंट निकाला है, लिविंग अकोमोडेशन उसको समझेगा भी नहीं वैसे भी. ठीक है. और ये सारा मिलके प्रॉपर्टी इनकम 1263 बोल रहा है. Have a look. एक मिनट. 12, एक मिनट. बिल्डिंग सोसाइटी. ठीक है. बिल्डिंग सोसाइटी. एक मिनट, कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया क्या? जस्ट टू सेकेंड ना. एक मिनट में उसका रुको, स्क्रीनशॉट ले लेता हूँ, बेटर रहेगा. कॉपी पेस्ट में इट डज नॉट वर्क. कौन सा नाम है रे? क्या नाम है? इधर तो बराबर दिख रहा है. आई थिंक आई चेंज द फॉन्ट. इसकी वजह से हो रहा है क्या?
हाँ सर, आई थिंक वेट के वजह से शायद.
हाँ, आ जाओ जरा. नाउ इज इट विजिबल? ठीक है क्या? चलो आ जाओ. हैव अ लुक. दिस सिनेरियो रिलेट्स टू वन रिक्वायरमेंट. ठीक है. अब देखो 41030, कार बेनिफिट का नोट 1 है, फ्यूल बेनिफिट का नोट 1 है. ओएस मतलब उसको जो जमा नहीं है वो उसने ओएस ओएस लिख के रखा है. प्रॉपर्टी इनकम ऑल्सो ही हैज नॉट अंडरस्टूड. बिल्डिंग सोसाइटी इंटरेस्ट इज 1260, डिविडेंड इज 5800. बाकी ओएस उसने लिखा है कि कितना टोटल इनकम है, क्योंकि ही डज नॉट नो द अमाउंट्स, करेक्ट. देन टैक्सेबल इनकम ही डज नॉट नो. 37,700, 20% वो जो भी है, राइट, उसके ऊपर इनकम है, बट उसके ऊपर कितना है डज नॉट नो, करेक्ट. देन व्हाट डिविडेंड एट व्हाट रेट विल बी टैक्सेबल, ही डज नॉट नो दैट. देन पीएवाई में कितना पे हुआ है माइनस करके इनकम टैक्स पेएबल कितना है. ठीक है. सो लॉजिकली वेर एवर ओएस 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 इज देयर, वी विल ट्राई टू फाइंड दैट क्वेश्चन, दैट पार्ट. अभी कार एंड फ्यूल बेनिफिट, गो एट द क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज आस्क्ड इन द क्वेश्चन. Calculate the income tax payable by Richard Trier for the tax year 23-24. बराबर है क्या? देख लो एक बार. 15 marker question. Very good question for a good what? Question for your practice. चले. So what we should do? We should make full what? Computation, right?
कंप्यूटेशन.
NSI, SI, DI कर सकते हो, right? So we can accordingly do it in Excel. आ जाओ जरा, Excel भी खोल लेने दो.
सही. क्वेश्चन में इतने सारे ओएस एक साथ थे, वो किसके लिए?
हाँ.
वो इतने सारे ओएस सर, 1 मिनट स्क्रॉल करेंगे आप ऊपर.
हाँ. बोलो।
ये इतने सारे ओएस किस चीज के लिए?
अरे राजा, जो जो उसको मालूम नहीं उसके लिए वो ऐसे, अभी उसको मालूम नहीं 37,700 के ऊपर कितनी इनकम जाएगी, तो वो ऐस।
अच्छा, ये टैक्स स्लैब का है ना सर?
हाँ, एट फोर्टी
ओके
परसेंट
ओके।
सेविंग्स में 0% कितना होगा सेविंग्स इनकम का, 40% कितना होगा, बराबर है ना।
अच्छा ओके ओके, गॉट इट गॉट इट।
आ जाओ, रिचर्ड ट्रायर हो गया। हाँ, चल। तो उसने क्या बोला, कैलकुलेट द इनकम टैक्स, राइट। तो आ जाओ। ठीक है क्या, देखो, आ जाओ। या एक हम ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, लेफ्ट में क्वेश्चन, राइट में आंसर, सो दैट वी कैन इजीली। हाँ, आ जाओ। अभी व्हाट यू कैन डू, फर्स्ट व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, लॉजिकली कॉपी दिस, करेक्ट, paste it here and say what, calculation of the income tax payable by what, tell me, Richard Tire for the tax year 23-24. Can we
24.
start, tell me. Now what you have to do, we have to make a small format, so particulars, correct, then we have amount in pounds अपने को ऐड करने का है, we can add what, tell me. शॉर्ट में जाना पड़ेगा, एन एन यू, सिंबल पाउंड ऐड करने का ना रे अपने को, पाउंड, पाउंड दिख रहा है क्या रे, पाउंड दिख रहा है करेंसी सिंबल्स में,
स्टार्टिंग नीचे।
ये यूरो है ना, पाउंड
नहीं
थोड़ी,
नहीं नहीं, वो रिसेंटली यूज सिंबल्स में से।
रिसेंटली यूज, हाँ हाँ हाँ, इधर इधर, इंसर्ट, क्लोज, तो वहाँ पे तो इजीली अवेलेबल होगा आपके लिए अमाउंट, या ऐसा करूँ क्या, टेल मी, अमाउंट इन पाउंड, देखो ऐसा करता हूँ, राइट, देन आई विल
हाँ,
से व्हाट, नॉन सेविंग्स इनकम, सेविंग्स इनकम, करेक्ट, एंड डिविडेंड इनकम, ठीक है। ओके क्या, देखो जरा, these three columns, चलो ओके है, टेल मी।
यस।
चल, तो आ जाओ, सबसे पहले विल डू नॉर्मल कैलकुलेशन ओनली, राइट। नाउ सी वी कुड डू इट टू वेज, दो तरीके, इधर अपन सैलरी इनकम लिख के इधर डायरेक्ट सैलरी इनकम टोटल लिख लेंगे, करेक्ट, बराबर है, और वी कुड डू इज व्हाट, टेल मी, मेक अ वर्किंग नोट फॉर व्हाट, ये एम्प्लॉयमेंट इनकम सैलरी इनकम पूरा है ना, राइट, उसका पूरा वर्किंग नोट करे, वैसा कुछ करे या कैसा करे, या एक काम कर सकते, देखो, एम्प्लॉयमेंट इनकम लिखते, राइट, उसमें सैलरी इनकम लिखते, ठीक है, कितना है सैलरी इनकम, 41030,
जीरो
बराबर है,
जीरो।
बट कार बेनिफिट विल से रिफर वर्किंग नोट 1, इसका वर्किंग नोट बना देते ना, ठीक है क्या,
हाँ।
देन फ्यूल बेनिफिट, वो भी उसी वर्किंग नोट में कवर कर लेंगे, फ्यूल बेनिफिट वर्किंग नोट 2, बराबर है, लिविंग अकोमोडेशन का बेनिफिट, दिस विल बी वर्किंग, या ये वर्किंग नोट 1 में ही बना लेंगे, चलो, क्योंकि रेट तो सेम होगा, ये है वर्किंग नोट 2, करेक्ट, देन यू हैव प्रॉपर्टी इनकम, राइट, तो प्रॉपर्टी इनकम, करेक्ट, प्रॉपर्टी इनकम कितना है रे, वर्किंग नोट 3 बना देंगे, ठीक है। तो वो वर्किंग नोट से वी कैन बोरो द अमाउंट्स, राइट। देन यू हैव बिल्डिंग सोसाइटी इंटरेस्ट,
Savings income
हाउ मच इज इट?
1260.
Income 1260, correct. And dividend incomes
5800.
5800, करेक्ट। चल, उसके बाद यू हैव टोटल इनकम, करेक्ट। वॉट एवर इज द टोटल इनकम, यहाँ सम का फॉर्मूला देके छोड़ देता हूँ, करेक्ट, राइट। देन आई विल से व्हाट, पर्सनल अलाउंस। बट कहाँ से कितना पर्सनल अलाउंस डिडक्ट होगा आई डोंट नो, ठीक है। तो आई एम कीपिंग इट पेंडिंग, राइट। फ्रॉम टोटल इनकम यू डिडक्ट पर्सनल अलाउंस, यू गेट व्हाट, टेल मी। नेट इनकम ना रे,
Net.
या नेट इनकम तो भूल ही गया क्या वो, टेल मी। टोटल इनकम में से
Ah,
सबसे डिडक्ट क्या होता है, टेल मी। एनी लॉस
QIP or relief.
और QIP,
QIP.
बट कोई लॉस लिस्ट या QIP है नहीं, ठीक है।
So
तो
this will
दिस
give
विल
us net
बिकम नेट इनकम, करेक्ट।
income.
कुछ है नहीं तो व्हाट वी डू, दिस माइनस दिस, करेक्ट, राइट। तो ये 0 0 0, ये 0, ये 0 0, करेक्ट। फिर पर्सनल अलाउंस वी डोंट नो हाउ मच विल इट बी डिडक्टेड, एंड देन इट विल गिव यू टैक्सेबल इनकम,
Income.
ठीक है। वॉट एवर इज द टैक्सेबल इनकम, दिस नेट इनकम माइनस पर्सनल अलाउंस, ओके, हैव अ लुक, विल गिव यू टैक्सेबल इनकम। फिर टैक्स कैलकुलेशन इसके नीचे, लीविंग सम स्पेस फॉर टैक्स कैलकुलेशन, फ्रॉम हियर वी कैन स्टार्ट वर्किंग नोट 1, ठीक है। आ जाओ, व्हाट इज वर्किंग नोट 1, टेल मी। कार बेनिफिट प्लस फ्यूल बेनिफिट, राइट। आ जाओ जरा। थ्रू आउट द टैक्स ईयर 23-24, ProcPy provided Richard with a petrol car which has a listed price। तो सबसे पहले मैं लिखता हूँ लिस्ट प्राइस ऑफ द कार ऑफ 17,900। द
900.
कार कॉस्ट ProcPy, राइट, 17,200, यानी डिस्काउंट मिला कितने का, टेल मी।
700.
700 का। बट कैन यू डिडक्ट एनी डिस्काउंट, विल यू हैव
No,
17,900 और 17,900?
19,900.
900.
अब जाओ आगे, 1700 है। CO2 एमिशन ऑफ 102 ड्यूरिंग द टैक्स ईयर, रिचर्ड मेड कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ 12,000 फॉर यूज ऑफ द कार। यूज ऑफ द कार कहाँ से डिडक्ट होगा, टेल मी। यहाँ कैपिटल कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन में या एंड में डिडक्ट होगा, टेल मी।
में
And
employee paid
लिस्ट
for the
प्राइस 17,900, फिर क्या करना है, टेल मी। योर व्हाट अप्रोप्रिएट परसेंटेज, कैसा कैलकुलेट करोगे अप्रोप्रिएट परसेंटेज। है CO2 emission, right? पेट्रोल कार है, CO2 emission 109, मीटिंग RD2
109.
स्टैंडर्ड, नॉट मीटिंग RD2 स्टैंडर्ड बोला है क्या, देखो जरा।
meeting RD2, we will assume
वी विल अज्यूम इट इज मीटिंग RD2, तो बोलो
Audit.
16% प्लस
16
क्या
plus
करो,
21.
105 माइनस 55, बराबर है,
55.
डिवाइड बाय 5, वो एक परसेंटेज आएगा, बराबर है। तो टेल
10.
मी,
10, 10, sorry,
26.
26.
26.
टेल मी 26%, ठीक है।
Yes.
26% इज इक्वल टू 16%, 16 प्लस 10%, बराबर है। तो 26%। सो टेल मी हाउ मच इज द
4650.
एनुअल कार बेनिफिट।
4650.
No, sir,
54.
we deduct na employee.
हाँ रुको ना, एनुअल कार बेनिफिट आया ना, राइट।
Yeah.
उसमें से क्या करते आप, N/12 करते, करेक्ट, प्रो रेटा,
Yeah.
फुल 12 मंथ्स यूज, तो 12
Full
मंथ्स यूज,
payment.
ठीक है। अगर 12 मंथ्स है तो एनुअल या कार बेनिफिट कितना आया, दिस इंटू 12/12, और फिर एम्प्लॉय पेड टू
Paid.
एम्प्लॉयर फॉर यूज ऑफ कार कितना होगा, 1200, तो टैक्सेबल कार बेनिफिट कितना आएगा? 4645 माइनस 1200 कितना हो गया?
4654 3454
3454.
54.
So have a look. Car benefit, right? 3454. Correct. Then इसी में fuel benefit on the period 1st July also provide Richard with fuel for private journeys. Correct. The total cost of fuel during the period was 4,200, of which 45% was for private journeys. Richard did not make any contribution toward the cost of the fuel. अब मेरे को बोलो प्राइवेट जर्नीज का, अब आप जो देखते हैं वो प्राइवेट जर्नी का ही फ्यूल क्या होता है? टेल मी। टैक्सेबल होता है, राइट? नाउ इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ 4,200 वगैरह कुछ भी, राइट? टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ फ्यूल ड्यूरिंग दिस पीरियड ऑफ 4,000, 45% आपको पूरा का पूरा मिलेगा। टेल मी, तो आ जाओ। प्राइवेट फ्यूल अलाउंस, प्राइवेट फ्यूल अलाउंस, हाउ विल आई कैलकुलेट प्राइवेट फ्यूल अलाउंस? टेल मी। एक देखो, लेकिन प्राइवेट फ्यूल अलाउंस के लिए डेट दी है क्या? टेल मी। 1 जुलाई,
Yes.
April 24. So was private fuel allowance given for the full year? Tell me,
No, will pro rata.
right?
Pro rata.
So आराम से
27,800 है ना
what
सर?
is the relevant amount? Tell me.
27,800.
27,800. And what is the appropriate
26%.
percentage? 26%. That is same above here. So how much is annual private fuel benefit?
सर जो ये 4,200 दिया हुआ है उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है ना?
से कोई मतलब नहीं, अमाउंट से कुछ लेना देना है क्या? या आप जो कैलकुलेट करोगे वो अमाउंट है? टेल मी। देन प्रो रेटा ऑन हाउ मेनी मंथ्स? टेल मी। हाउ मेनी मंथ्स इज जुलाई से लेके अप्रैल तक? टेल मी।
9 months.
9 months, करेक्ट। सो दिस इज व्हाट, दिस डिवाइडेड बाय 12 इंटू 9,
542.
बराबर है। अभी एनीथिंग पेड बाय एम्प्लॉय टू एम्प्लॉयर, उसका कुछ करना है क्या?
No.
No, sir.
राइट, ठीक है।
सर तो इसमें फ्यूल में कितना भी बेनिफिट हो रीइम्बर्स कर दिया, कितना भी कॉस्ट अकर हो, इसमें ये बेस अमाउंट पे कैलकुलेट होगा?
टैक्सेबल, यस, राइट। तो इसको भी ऊपर रेफरेंस दे दो, 5421। ठीक है, चलो आगे। उसके बाद लिविंग अकोमोडेशन वर्किंग नोट 2। ठीक, आ जाओ। थ्रू आउट द टैक्स 23-24 Procpi provided Richard with living accommodation. The property was what? Tell me. Have a look. Has been rented out by Procpi since 6th April 23 at a cost of 1,100 per month. On 6th April 2023, the market value of the property was 122,000 and it had an annual value of 8,600. क्या करूं मैं? बोलो मेरे को। Living accommodation basic charge will arise or not arise? Tell me. Tell me.
बेसिक चार्ज विल अराइज.
Basic charge is what? Higher of what? Two things. What are two things? Tell me.
रेंट
Annual.
एक्चुअली पेड.
Annual value of
Annual.
property
Yeah,
or what? Tell me.
रेंट पेड.
Actual rent paid.
paid.
ठीक है, सबसे पहले एनुअल वैल्यू निकालो। टेल मी व्हाट इज एनुअल वैल्यू? दिया है कि एनुअल वैल्यू इज हाउ मच?
8,600.
600.
8,600 and actual rent paid. Now this, see, if you are taking this annual, actual rent paid should also be annual, correct?
यस.
Yes.
Logically. How much is the annual rent paid? Tell me. 1100 per month,
1,100.
200.
correct? So into how much? Tell me.
13,200.
13,200.
13,200. So basic charge will be higher
Of both.
of annual value or actual rent paid.
Paid.
तो क्या है max of both of the two? 13,200.
200.
ठीक है क्या?
Yes,
Then
sir.
on 6th April 2023, Procpi purchased furniture for the property at a cost of 12,100. the company pays for the running cost, right? Running cost related to the property and for the tax year 23 these amount running cost for the property, ये भी तो एक benefit है, running cost of property. Will it be taxable or not be taxable? Tell me.
Taxable.
Fully taxable. Running cost कितना है? Tell me. Fully
3000.
taxable 3700, correct? And tell me, अब ये जो property दी है furniture, should it be fully 12,100 taxable or is it asset provided to employee for use? Tell me.
20% will
Asset.
apply.
Asset provided to employee
Right.
for use, correct? तो कितना होगा? Tell me. 12,100 into 20%.
20%.
Have a look.
Sir, can you
Total.
explain for the running costs again?
हाँ,
Can you explain this running costs again?
देखो मैं तुमको घर भी दे रहा हूँ और घर में बाइक का खर्चा भी दे रहा हूँ, तो बाइक का खर्चा अगर एम्प्लॉयर दे रहा है तो पूरा का पूरा टैक्सेबल, करेक्ट? टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग अकोमोडेशन, देखो लॉजिकली लिविंग अकोमोडेशन का कॉस्ट इतना आएगा 13,200 प्लस 3,700, और एसेट यूज एक्चुअली उसी के अंदर ऐड हो जाना चाहिए, ऊपर उन्होंने क्या दिया है? लिविंग अकोमोडेशन ही दिया, तो पूरा ले लो कोई
Accommodation.
बात नहीं। 19,320 लिविंग अकोमोडेशन कॉस्ट 19,320, राइट? देन प्रॉपर्टी इनकम, नोट 3 प्रॉपर्टी इनकम, आ जाओ हम भी वर्किंग नोट 3 बना लेते प्रॉपर्टी इनकम का। करेक्ट? आ जाओ। रिचर्ड owns a freehold shop which is let out unfurnished. The 10-year-old shop was purchased by Richard on 1st October 2023, right? Which is let out what? Freehold shop है, याद रखना। Richard spent 8,400 replacing the building's roof. Building roof replacement क्या लगता है? Tell me. क्या होगा?
Capital expenditure.
कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर है। रिप्लेसिंग द बिल्डिंग रूफ, रिपेयरिंग द रूफ होता
Repair.
तो
Revenue.
ठीक है। चलो देखते हैं। द शॉप वॉज नॉट यूजेबल अंटिल द वर्क वॉज कंप्लीटेड ऑन 30th नवंबर एंड दिस फैक्ट वॉज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय रिड्यूस्ड परचेस प्राइस, ठीक है। फिर ऑन 1st December 2023, करेक्ट, द प्रॉपर्टी वॉज let to a tenant with Richard receiving a premium of 12,000 for the grant of a 30-year lease. The monthly rent is 664 payable in advance. रेंट भी है और लीज भी है, तो पहले रेंट का कैलकुलेशन कर लेते। ड्यूरिंग द पीरियड 1st December, रिसीव्ड इन एडवांस मीन्स व्हाट? टेल मी। इन एडवांस मीन्स स्टार्ट ऑफ द मंथ और एंड ऑफ द मंथ? टेल मी।
Start of the month.
स्टार्ट ऑफ द मंथ, ठीक है। तो 12,000, ठीक है। 5 रेंटल पेमेंट्स मिला है उसको, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च और अप्रैल। टेल मी 5th
April.
अप्रैल तक का, पहला अप्रैल का जो मिलेगा, विल इट बी इंक्लूडेड इन योर रेंट और
Yes,
नॉट
sir.
बी इंक्लूडेड?
Yes,
तो
it is
Should be.
included.
बराबर है। एक मिनट,
Yeah.
परचेस्ड ऑन 1st October, राइट? फिर क्या था? रिचर्ड स्पेंड 8,000, द शॉप वॉज नॉट यूजेबल अंटिल दिस वर्क वॉज कंप्लीटेड एंड दिस फैक्ट वॉज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय रिड्यूस्ड परचेस प्राइस। अब मेरे को बोलो, ये 8,400 की वजह से क्या कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी, बिकॉज ऑफ द रूफ नॉट बीइंग देयर, कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी वाज लो? टेल मी यस और नो। यू डूइंग द रूफिंग लेड टू व्हाट? टेल मी।
Additional
Increase
increase
in
in the
value of property. So is it a capital expenditure or a revenue expenditure? Tell me.
Capital
capital.
expenditure.
Capital expenditure. Make sense? Tell me. तो क्या लिखूंगा मैं? सबसे पहले रेंटल इनकम, राइट? आराम से लिखो। 1st December, कॉमा 1st January 23, कॉमा 1st February 23, कॉमा 1st March 23, कॉमा 1st April 23। ये 5 क्या हुआ है? रिसीव हुआ है। तो कितना है पर मंथ रेंट? 664 इंटू 5,
664.
3320, करेक्ट। अलाउएबल डिडक्शन है क्या कोई? सी, आपको अलाउएबल डिडक्शन लिखना पड़ेगा, करेक्ट।
No,
फिर उसमें क्या
yes.
लिखते हैं? टेल मी। यू विल राइट व्हाट?
See,
रिप्लेसिंग द रूफ, बट एक मिनट मेरे को चेक करने दो. आई आई रिमेम्बर दिस वाज अलाउड एज एन एक्सपेंस. एक मिनट. मेरे को ऐसे याद आ रहा है ये अलाउड ऐसे एक्सपेंस बोल के मेरे दिमाग में किधर तो इन सम पार्ट ऑफ माय ब्रेन आई फील इट वाज अलाउड समवेयर.
सर बट ये तो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर हुआ ना फिर
कैपिटल
भी।
एक्सपेंडिचर ही है बट आई थिंक मुझे क्यों याद आ रहा है. लेट मी जस्ट हैव अ लुक. पेशेंस वाला क्वेश्चन भी एक अपने को करने का है. हम्म,
सर ये रिचर्ड ट्राई वाला तो अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, पर ऐसे क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में नहीं आते ना फिर।
आते ना. किसने बोला नहीं आते?
अरे मतलब ये ऐसा
कौन बोला?
क्लियर नहीं आता ना।
कौन
थोड़ा
बोला?
ट्विस्ट कॉम्प्लिकेटेड देते हैं।
कौन बोला नहीं आता है?
सर मैंने खुद ने एक्सपीरियंस किया ना मेरे एग्जाम में।
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. कभी भी नहीं
ये
आता ऐसा.
तो
हो
अच्छा
ही नहीं सकता.
सिंपल फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन है।
हाँ.
ये तो अच्छा सिंपल स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन है ना।
सिंपल स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन नहीं आता एग्जाम में, ऐसा कौन बोलता है?
तो मेरे साथ तो एकदम अजीबोगरीबी क्वेश्चन आया था एग्जाम में।
ऐसा तुम देखो एखादे इसमें ऐसा आया इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हर बार ऐसा ही होगा. करेक्ट. ठीक है. आ जाओ जरा. हम्म. राइट. 1 दिसंबर. हाँ. हाँ. अलाउेबल डिडक्शन तो नहीं है बट क्या. देख लो. बिल्डिंग रूफ जीरो. कैपिटल एक्सपेंस है. राइट. सो नॉट अलाउेबल. ठीक है. चलो आगे बढ़े क्या. प्रॉपर्टी वॉज लेट आउट. ठीक है. 664 पेएबल. ठीक है यानी टैक्सेबल रेंटल इनकम कितना होगा. 3320 माइनस ये जीरो बराबर है. बट इधर ये भी रिसीव हुआ है क्या? टेल मी. हाँ एक
प्लीज।
मिनट. नीचे एक मिनट एक मिनट एक मिनट. नीचे क्या दिया है? हाँ लीज. पहले लीज का कर लो. लीज रिसीव्ड. कितनी है लीज रिसीव्ड?
12,000।
12,000. और माइनस क्या करेंगे? कितने साल की है?
कैपिटल
30 ईयर्स.
कंपोनेंट।
राइट. तो रेवेन्यू
30
या
years.
कैपिटल कंपोनेंट माइनस करेंगे. राइट. कैसा करोगे? 12,000
12
मल्टीप्लाइड बाई
into
2%
2
इंटू व्हाट?
percentage.
टेल मी.
29.
एन माइनस
N
वन
minus 1.
इंटू 29।
यानी 29. करेक्ट.
6960। 6960।
तो रेवेन्यू कंपोनेंट ऑफ लीज. ये क्या. फिर उसके बाद क्या किया है? ड्यू टू अ फायर 8,600 was spent on repairing the ceiling of the shop during February 24. Only 8,200 of this was paid. अब repairing the ceiling of the shop. एक है रिप्लेसमेंट और एक है रिपेयरिंग. क्या करना पड़ता? टेल मी. क्या
अलाउेबल
वो
एक्सपेंस।
अलाउेबल एक्सपेंस होगा? टेल मी.
हाँ
यस।
डिडक्ट करना.
रिपेयर्स ऑफ रूफ. यस. तो रिप्लेसिंग में ऐड कर देता हूँ इधर नीचे. रिपेयरिंग ऑफ रूफ. राइट. और कितना पे किया आपने? टेल मी. आउट ऑफ द 8,600 8,200 वॉज पेड यानी कितना? टेल मी.
400.
8,200 अलाउ होगा.
400 विल बी अलाउेबल।
तो एक मिनट फिर तो लॉस आ जाएगा मेरे हिसाब से. टेल मी.
सर इंश्योरेंस मिला है ना।
Insurance.
इंश्योरेंस है क्या?
Four.
एक मिनट.
हाँ
हाँ
इंश्योरेंस
सर, I think
रिसीव
ओके
होता
ओके
है।
400.
ओके. एक मिनट. 8,600 वॉज स्पेंट. हाँ तो फिर खर्चा कितना हुआ? टेल मी.
नेट
400.
एक्सपेंस
एट
400।
थाउजेंड सिक्स हंड्रेड माइनस 8,200.
यस
400.
यस।
इधर. तो खर्चा तुम्हारा हुआ 400 का. बराबर है. रिचर्ड पेड इंश्योरेंस ऑफ 50 पाउंड इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी, वो भी अलाउड होगा। इंश्योरेंस ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी 50 पाउंड, बट वो कब पे किया? इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ 50 पाउंड इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ द, दिस वाज पेड ऑन 1 अक्टूबर 23। ठीक है,
अलाउेबल अलाउेबल।
allowed। सो 3320 माइनस 400 माइनस 50, 2870, ठीक है क्या? अब
यस।
एक ही चीज जो मेरे को कुछ अलग लगी, राइट, क्योंकि ये कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी है। कौन सी प्रॉपर्टी है? कमर्शियल एंड नॉट रेसिडेंशियल। हमने जनरली क्वेश्चन रेसिडेंशियल की किए। कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी में वॉट एवर यू कैपिटलाइज, उसके ऊपर आपको क्या मिलेगा? एसबीए मिलेगा ऑन कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी। अभी कौन सी इनकम है जो आपने कैपिटल बोल के ऐड की थी? टेल मी। रूफ रिपेयरिंग जो था, या रूफ रिप्लेसमेंट, राइट, इज इक्वल टू हाउ मच? कितने का किया था रूफ रिप्लेसमेंट? 8400 इंटू कितना मिलता है आपको एसबीए? टेल मी। 3% मिलता है जनरली, करेक्ट? तो इज इक्वल टू 8400 इंटू 3%। बट हाउ मेनी मंथ्स डिड यू यूज द रूफ? टेल मी। रूफ कब लगाया था? 30th नवंबर। तो दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, 4 महीने के लिए। दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी हैव नॉट डन, इसीलिए ये क्वेश्चन लिया था। इसको इम्पोर्टेंट मार्क कर देता हूँ, ठीक है? डिफरेंट एडजस्टमेंट, राइट। इसको चाहिए तो मैं कल आपको बुक में भी लिखा देता हूँ, डिफरेंट एडजस्टमेंट, ठीक है? तो मार्क कर लेंगे, ठीक।
सर तो ये एसबीए का जो अलाउंस है वो इसमें मतलब इंक्लूड होगा
यस,
अलाउेबल एक्सपेंसेस में?
यस, ठीक है।
इसने
तो
फिर
अब
से प्रॉपर्टी इनकम को रिड्यूस किया है ना?
रिड्यूस किया, यस।
ओके
तो आ
ओके।
जाओ, हाउ मच इज योर प्रॉपर्टी इनकम? टोटल प्रॉपर्टी इनकम आ जाओ, 5040 प्लस टैक्सेबल रेंटल इनकम, बराबर है? देख लो, 7826 की इनकम जाएगी इधर, इधर, ठीक है। ऑलमोस्ट अपना टोटल इनकम का कामकाज खत्म हो गया है क्या? टेल मी।
यस।
टोटल इनकम में अपना 7705112605 टोटल भी बना देते, टोटल। ठीक, अब चलो, कुछ लॉस लिफ वगैरह कुछ भी नहीं है, ये टोटल आगे कंटिन्यू होगी, करेक्ट? देन आ जाओ जरा आगे, पर्सनल अलाउंस। अब मेरे को बोलो पर्सनल अलाउंस लॉजिकली कहाँ से डिडक्ट होना चाहिए? पहले तो पर्सनल अलाउंस देखो, 84,111। आपको कोई और जीपीपीसी जीजीएडी कुछ दिया हुआ है क्या?
नो।
नथिंग। तो डायरेक्ट पर्सनल
एनएसआई।
अलाउंस में लिखो एज ए एन आई, एज ए एन आई इज इक्वल टू एन आई, राइट? एंड कितना है? लेस देन 100,000, पी ए फुल्ली अवेलेबल।
सर इतना डिटेल में मेंशन करने की जरूरत है एग्जाम में?
करोगे तो बेटर है, एग्जामिनर को भी पता चलेगा, आपको भी पता चलेगा कि आपको आता है बोल के, राइट?
एग्जामिनर को तो सब पता चलेगा इतना आता है।
तो भी क्या मालूम कहाँ पे उसका दिमाग घूम जाए। -12,570, करेक्ट? तो टैक्सेबल इनकम इतनी है, अब टैक्स कैलकुलेट करो। टैक्स, ठीक है। सबसे पहले मैं क्या लिखूंगा? एनएसआई। एनएसआई में पहले 37,700, टैक्स एट 20%, बराबर है?
20%।
तो कितना आएगा? दिस इंटू दिस, बराबर है? फिर एसआई, राइट? एसआई या एनएसआई? एनएसआई कंटिन्यू होगा।
चल।
NSI
एनएसआई आउट ऑफ द 64,481, 37,700 ऑलरेडी टैक्स, रिमेनिंग टैक्स एट 40%,
40%।
बराबर है? उसके बाद एसआई, एसआई में फर्स्ट 1,000 क्या होगा?
0%।
जीरो
एट जीरो
परसेंटेज
परसेंट
सर 500 होगा ना?
हाँ।
कितना? 500 होगा ना?
बेसिक
ठीक है।
बेसिक
देन फिर बचा हुआ ऐसा है, टैक्स एट व्हाट रेट, 1260 माइनस 500, बराबर है। दिस विल बी टैक्स एट व्हाट रेट, 40%, बराबर। फिर डीआई, डीआई में फर्स्ट 1000 या फर्स्ट 2000, टेल मी।
1000.
1000.
फर्स्ट 1000 विल बी टैक्स एट व्हाट रेट, टेल मी। 0।
0%.
Then remaining DI will be taxed at what rate? Tell me.
8.75.
So
No, 40.
500 minus 1000. 8.75 है या is it falling in?
33.75, yes.
33.75%. Correct. So total tax liability कितना है? हाँ, उसमें से भी कुछ PAY माइनस था ना, देखो जरा। PAY ऑलरेडी पेड कितना था? एक मिनट, पहले आप निकालो टैक्स लायबिलिटी कितना है। टैक्स लायबिलिटी सम ऑफ ऑल दीज वैल्यूज, राइट। हो गया क्या? हाँ, 20,000, उसमें से माइनस PAY
paid.
कितना है? माइनस PAY क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ है 19,130, राइट। तो टैक्स पेएबल कितना होगा? दिस माइनस 1046.4, यानी 1046। ए इंश्योरेंस पेड अपन ने 50 लिया है क्या? 501 है इंश्योरेंस, सॉरी यार, इंश्योरेंस 50 लिया ना अपन ने गलती से।
तो कितना था
फाइव
सर?
जीरो अरे 501 है, मैंने 1 देखा नहीं।
हाँ, 50.
उतना चेंज कर देते हैं, वी हैव गिवन ऑल फॉर्मूलेस, तो सब सही होगा। तो लेट मी जस्ट चेक क्या अपना आंसर मैच हो जाएगा। आई थिंक 866 आ रहा उनका आंसर, किधर लफड़ा हो गया
अपना कितना है सर?
मालूम नहीं है, देखने दो। हाँ, हो गया मैच, ठीक है। आ जाओ जरा, आज कुछ होमवर्क दो आपको, फिर में।
यस सर.
हाँ
चलो
सर.
आ जाओ।
सर इसके वर्ड फाइल और ये एक्सेल फाइल दोनों सेंड कर देंगे आप ग्रुप पे?
ऑब्वियसली यस।
सर ऐसे ही सेक्शन सी के सर प्रैक्टिस करवाना. इट वाज अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन.
Do the entire net of tax corporation tax liability. पेशेंस वाला एक क्वेश्चन अच्छा है, पेशेंस वाला कर सकते हैं क्या? वेल में पेशेंस वाला आपने किया होगा ना,
तो वो
केगन वाला।
ढूंढेंगे.
हाँ, पेशेंस वाला करो, अच्छा क्वेश्चन है पेशेंस वाला।
बट सर वेयर टू गेट दैट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम?
अरे
क्वेश्चन
दे रहा
बैंक
हूँ
में?
ना, अरे दे रहा हूँ ना भाई, काय को टेंशन ले रहा है।
ओके सर.
ये जो आपका एक वर्ड फाइल है ना, उसी में नीचे है, ठीक है।
सर आंसर पे सर.
हाँ,
आंसर. सॉरी
आंसर
सर.
भी देता हूँ ना, वी कैन डिस्कस द आंसर। आप मेरे को
हाँ.
आंसर बताना, ठीक है,
ओके सर.
राइट। तो हैव अ लुक एट दिस क्वेश्चन, टुडे ट्राई टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन। कल फिर वो केगन वाला क्वेश्चन है एक, वो मैं लेता हूँ। केगन क्वेश्चन इज वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन, KGN, राइट। नहीं, केगन या कजुओ, कजुओ एक है, कजुओ भी अच्छा है और केगन भी अच्छा है, दोनों क्वेश्चन अच्छे हैं। दोनों क्वेश्चन आई विल ट्राई टू टेक, ठीक है। डील का एक क्वेश्चन है, वो भी आपको होमवर्क में कर सकते हैं, ठीक है।
सर आज के लिए तो एक क्वेश्चन करने दो.
ठीक है, एक क्वेश्चन कर लो, ठीक है, ट्राई करो, राइट। एनीथिंग एल्स लेट मी नो, ओके।
श्योर सर.
Let's wrap it up for today. I'll send you the Word and Excel files and also the notes, ठीक है।
ओके सर.
Okay, sir.
Chalo then, guys. Have a good day. We'll meet
Yeah,
tomorrow
it is, sir.
7 a.m. Right. Till then, bye bye.
Thank you,
Take care
sir.
of
Have a
Bye,
yourself.
nice
sir.
day.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, beta. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
अरे क्या हो रहा है भाई?